It's on!
It is on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Disney Parks Talk Live, the show in which we weekly, or lately sometimes, talk about the week in Disney theme parks and otherwise. My name is Doobie Mosley. I am the co-founder here at Laughing Place. Over there is the other co-founder, Rebecca. How you doing, Rebecca?
I'm doing well.
Very good. Down there is our vice president in charge of all things Star Wars, Southern California theme parks, and really cool Instagram follow, Mike Celestino.
And Ghostbusters.
Oh, goodness. We're not covering that now, are we?
No, it's just I'm celebrating this week because we got the new movie coming out, but I will leave it at that. Hi.
And sitting in for Jeremiah today, who was doing who knows what, who knows where. He just didn't show up. So Luke Manning came in at the last moment, all the way from the UK. How you doing, Luke?
I'm here to pick up Jeremiah's slack as always.
So I know you're British. What time is it where you are right now?
It's actually no, because in England they haven't done daylight savings yet, so it's 11 p.m.
Hey, well, thank you for staying up late with us today. Appreciate it
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
The sun is shining bright outside.
Yeah.
That's a lightsaber, Rebecca. That's not.
Wow, that's a throwback to a.
Yes, it is. For a simpler time. We're here to talk about what's going on. We're live, so if you have any questions, any comments, you want to contribute anything with all the news going on, please feel free to do so, because we already know what we think. We'd love to know what you think. So let's get started with the big news that dropped today. Mike Celestino, this is in your neck of the woods. What is going on in Critter Country?
It's going away. No, it's not going away permanently, but it's going away temporarily. It will be shuttering the doors of Critter Country or closing the paths to Critter Country as they transform a couple of the shops from Splash Mountain theme to Tiana's Bayou Adventure theme.
They are the Briar Patch, which is the first one I had here, is being transferred to Ray's Berets. They're going to sell hats here. That's the story.
Mm-hmm. And other things.
And then part of Pooh Corner, not the whole thing, but just part of part of Pooh Corner.
Yeah, Pooh Corner.
Way back in the back of, I think the mile long bar is finally going away, and they're going to replace that with Louis' Critter Club, that'll be kind of the main place to sell shirts and trinkets and all the general merchandise and all that kind of stuff. Is that what you guys understand as well?
That's my understanding.
Seems like a reskin almost, because I mean back in the day those all used to be different establishments, and then it kind of all became Pooh Corner. So now it's kind of going back to the way it was a little bit.
And Pooh isn't changing, and they gave us the impression that Hungry Bear wasn't changing as well, right? Or am I misremembering?
They certainly didn't say it was, and they very specifically mentioned the two stores. So
okay.
Pooh and Hungry Bear will be closed for this, but they did not indicate they were changing. This all closes on May 1st. No reopening date is set, but presumably somewhere around the opening of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which will be late 2024. And most importantly, Davy Crockett's Explorer Canoes will not be closing as a part of this refurbishment.
I was going to say, I bet that path going to Galaxy's Edge remains accessible also. So I'm thinking that the way it'll be closed off will be like from just past the entrance to Hungry Bear, if they're not touching that, across toward the other side there, and you'll still have access to that pathway.
Hey, Doobie, can you throw up that Ray's Berets again?
Yeah, of course. Ray's Berets.
I want to ask you guys about this because I'm kind of curious. So this shows like a bunch of fireflies and whatnot. Do we think that that's like the lasers that came out of the Observatron in the concept art over with Tomorrowland that was just kind of conceptual but yet never realized? Or do you guys anticipate actual kind of flittering fireflies when the evening arrives around Ray's?
I think that would be a pretty easy thing to do. Just I think that's artistic license in that photo. But in the other one, maybe. I don't think little strands of a little strand with a little light at the top would be too much to ask for, but I feel like it could also just be artistic license.
They could just do those, those projection lights that go on the trees. You see
Yeah.
at
I
the
know what you're
holiday
talking about.
season.
Don't they do those in Avatar? Isn't Avatar some of that kind of little points of light as opposed to actual, physical illuminate
I
objects?
think so. No, I'm
Yeah, I
not
was
too
trying to
certain
remember.
on that, but
Didn't we all, when we used to go to Disneyland, buy those little light up things that had like a million spokes coming out of them? They all had a little light at the end, and you'd wave them around, and they would light up. Just put a couple of those in there. How hard is it? The wind blows,
Like
you got a firefly.
like Betty's wedding, like the Betty wedding.
Yes, of course, like the Betty wedding, like the bed wedding. No, that's it.
oh,
Sorry,
that's
about
something
that. This is
different.
a holdover from DTL on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it should have stayed there.
You missed a good one, Mike. All right. So that's I guess is it the biggest surprise in the world that they're doing some major changes to Critter Country in anticipation of TBA?
No.
But I'm
No.
excited that we're seeing the use of critter.
True.
Yeah, I think to be fair, they said that Critter Country would be closing, and they didn't say it would be temporary. So they didn't say yes or no to whether they would be changing it.
Breaking news is Lou breaking the news that Critter Country will be changing its name to something.
No, Luke is just speculating.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, the way that they're redoing these establishments, they still pretty much have the same bones that they currently have. They're just getting a little bit of a Tiana overlay. So I think Critter Country, especially with all of the critters that are going to be in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I think Critter Country's sticking around.
I hope so. All right. Going back to the other coast, was it Saturday that Typhoon Lagoon reopened? I forgot already. Sunday, Typhoon Lagoon, which someone in this chat believes is the finest themed area Disney has ever created, reopened at Walt Disney World. So Jeremiah was there to cover that for us, but he's not here today, and we don't know where he is. We have an ATV out. So Rebecca, why don't you just wax poetic about the beauty of Typhoon Lagoon while I scroll through some of these reopening pictures?
Okay, well, first of all, let me say that Jeremiah is a tremendous teammate because he knows this is my favorite place on the planet. And so while he was strolling around Typhoon Lagoon, he actually sent me a couple of pics and just chatted with me a little bit about Typhoon Lagoon. I don't know how Luke and Mike view this park, but I think this is just an exquisite example of Imagineering creation because they truly transform you. The storyline is apparent yet subtle. I mean, they don't just spill it all out for you in prose, but you can catch on to what's happening with the leaning palms and these various elements that are left behind after a typhoon has come through. I don't know, Luke, have you been to Typhoon Lagoon?
Oh yeah, plenty of times. Typhoon Lagoon is definitely my favorite Disney water park. I prefer it over Blizzard Beach, but I have to say I think Volcano Bay is up there as my favorite in the Orlando area. I think Typhoon Lagoon is definitely better overall when it comes to theming, but yeah. But Volcano Bay is my bay.
I have yet to visit Volcano Bay, so I'm eager
Fantastic
to check it out. So
If you love Typhoon Lagoon, I think you'll love Volcano Bay.
yeah,
I'm curious, since you have opinions, what do you think of Aquatica? Where does that rank in there?
I think Aquatica has a good selection. In fact, it probably has the best selection of slides in the Orlando area, but the theming isn't quite up to the Disney or Universal levels. But it's still nice. It's very nicely landscaped, so it's definitely not a bad option. But it's not quite at that huge high level. Slide wise, though, I think Aquatica has a better collection than definitely Blizzard Beach and maybe Typhoon Lagoon.
Mm-hmm. I'm inclined to agree if you're like a water park thrill seeker. I think Aquatica is better than that vein.
What's the best water slide you've ever been on, Mike?
Oh, that's not the question I was expecting you to ask me. There's a few. So I grew up on Long Island, New York, and we had a
Action
place.
Park?
No, I was going to say there's a place called Splish Splash on Long Island. That was like our sort of local. It was a bit of a drive to get out there from where I live, but it was a sort of local water park, and they had a couple good ones there. I did go to Action Park at least once as a kid, but I
Ooh.
would have been like 5 years old, so I don't remember too much about it, except I remember walking past that looping water slide and thinking, how the heck would anyone survive that? That's my big memory of Action Park, but I have not stepped foot, sadly, into any of the water parks in Orlando, because whenever we're down there, I feel like we're always trying to cram in as much time at the theme parks as possible. But someday I'm going to get there. It's definitely on my list of things to try.
Yeah, and don't forget if you're booking a stay at a Walt Disney World Resort, not now, but in the future, I can't remember the date.
2025, I believe.
Okay, 2025. Yeah, you'll get a free day in the water parks on your arrival day, or an included day on your arrival day. So go check it out. The water parks are awesome. I agree. I'm with Rebecca. I prefer Typhoon Lagoon to Blizzard Beach, in pretty much every way. Yeah, it's awesome. And then they also announced that Typhoon Lagoon's H2O Glow After Hours would be returning. 18 nights this summer, May 25th through August 31st, 18 select nights. Rebecca, I know you've had the chance to experience these, haven't you?
Yeah, and they're a blast. I mean, just experience a water park in the evening. They do a really great job of bringing high energy to various locations with little dance parties. They had a stage set up over by Crush and Gushers Lagoon area with a dance party. They had a dance party over, obviously, by the large wave pool. Lots of glow. They had unique water tubes that were like glittery, unique food items. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And Florida, if you haven't been to Florida, Florida doesn't do like California. If you're used to Disneyland, where there's a very different temperature when the sun goes down, not as typical in Florida. Florida temps seem to kind of stay moderate. And these water parks, the water is heated. It isn't simply the ambient temperature that keeps things nice. They actually heat the water there, which is part of the reason why Typhoon Lagoon is one of my favorites.
I remember very clearly being there. I think it was this past June for an event, and met up with Mike Mack and Tony Betty at Disney Springs, and brought along my hoodie, and they were like, "Why do you have that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's for when it gets cold after dark." And they kind of looked at me funny. It's like, that doesn't happen here.
Nope.
Not gonna happen.
Great thing about Florida, you just dress for the day. You don't have to worry about it getting cold at night, cold in the morning. Beautiful. All right.
Like here, where I have three different outfits throughout the day. It's like,
like a 40-degree difference throughout the day. That's ridiculous. How do you live with that? The body can't take that. Must be a shock to the body. How do we just not keel over from that? I don't know.
shortening your lifespan every day.
It can't be good for me. There's no way. All right, let's go back to the West Coast and to Pixar Fest, which is coming April 26th, just over a month away, running all the way through August 4th. And oh my, they are putting out so much information about Pixar Fest. This looks like it's going to be the bomb diggity event of the year. You getting excited, Mike?
I personally, I'm slightly more excited for Season of the Force for reasons I don't have to go into. But yeah, I enjoyed Pixar Fest last time. What was that? 5-6 years ago. When was that happening?
2018.
2018. Okay, so it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like they have a lot of fun stuff planned. The nighttime parties are back in Hollywood land, and then there's also a daytime kind of dance party thing.
Yeah, as you said, the Club Pixar, where Mike, if you want to, I've hung out with Mike at night. It's a good time. So if you want to have a good time while you're exploring Pixar Fest, go out to Club Pixar.
I will be there every night during the festival.
That's right. The old stomping
That's
grounds,
not a guarantee.
Just like you were for like the Mad Tea Party in Electronica, right? That's where you.
I will never forget the final day of the Mad Tea Party band at that exact location, and holding my arms up like this. This is working for a different website, but the entire day, that was a tough one. But excited to check this out for sure.
So this is the Club Pixar dance party, and then they also have the Pixar. What's this? Pixar.
Hey,
Pixar
Luke.
Pals Playtime at Fantasyland Theater
Yes.
is coming to Disneyland.
Well, I was gonna say while Doobie was trying to figure out how to pull that up, I was gonna ask you: do you wish that something like this would come to Hollywood studios?
I think it would be nice. I don't think it's not really something on the top of my bucket list, but
do you like these in general as a concept? These kind of park overlays where they, you know, really change out some of the decor, bring in unique entertainment.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have. I think as like a summer event or a spring event or whatever, I think it's a nice change of pace for sure. But I'm not sitting there like, God, we need this.
What about you? Are you a big fan of these overlays, Rebecca?
I'm a big fan of these overlays. I'm not a big fan of Pixar, so I don't really. This one, come take it or leave it. I'm excited for Seasons of the Force. Now that I'm excited.
Electronica was my all-time favorite of the nighttime dance parties. So if it can get anywhere, I don't think it will, but if it can get anywhere to that kind of vibe, that's what I really liked. Mad Tea Party was a bit odd for me.
Wait, okay. Tony's gonna strangle me later, but I can't keep titles totally straight anymore. Turning Red, Disney, Pixar, right?
Pixar.
So, do you anticipate? Should we anticipate like a 4-town boy band? Have we seen that in the concept? I haven't been really.
Well, we're gonna see that in the Better Together parade.
Okay.
Which
wasn't there some kind of casting call that got sent out about that?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's for the parade or for multiple things. I mean, they'll be in the parade, but maybe they'll also appear elsewhere.
That'll be wildly popular, I think.
Yes.
I can't believe how popular that aspect of the film was with my peer group.
And with songs written by 2-time Oscar winner Billie Eilish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She can write more than just sad songs.
There's that concept art for you with the 4-town. But they also released some new concept art of the floats that are coming as a part of the parade, including Soul.
I find it very awkward that Joe is just standing there. Isn't that awkward?
You're not that.
That's how I hope he is for the entire parade. Just hands in the pockets, looking real glum.
He is the coolest guy in the history of Disney movies, and all he needs to do is just stand there the whole time.
But why not have a piano for him? I don't understand.
Thank you.
Because she's playing the piano, don't you see up there?
Oh, I guess.
He's just being cool. And then they also previewed the Luca float that will be coming. So, I don't know. Makes me feel like Eureka all over again. I don't know why, but it's giving me those vibes. It's a good thing.
I like how you can see that Luca is like the part that's underwater is going to look water creature.
That is cool. I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems like there might be some visual fun in the parade.
They also talked about some of the food that would be coming to Pixar Fest, which hopefully Rebecca will get a chance to go down there and eat, because that is what she does a lot of for us here at LP, including the Pixar, not the Pixar, I was going to say the Pixar ball.
I would like to also state very proudly that since taking on this new role at Laughing Place of being the West Coast food correspondent, I have managed to get the scale to go lower. So I was nervous when this first became my
assignment. Get that CEO. We need to send her to more events. All right, Pixar Fest, April 26th through August 4th, one of the many events happening. First, though, before that comes the Seasons of the Force. When does that kick off, Mike?
That starts April 5th, so that means they overlap for like a month, right?
Really?
Yeah, because Season of the Force goes through April and May.
Yeah, and it's Disneyland heavy. I get the feeling that Pixar is DCA heavy,
but
right?
not exclusive. It
Right.
is,
Yeah.
but
I
not
think
exclusive.
Seasons of the Force is all Disneyland, but Pixar Fest is a little bit of both. But mostly
Pixar, Star
California
Wars.
Adventure.
A salute to all of the resort, but mostly California Adventure. Luke, before
Hello.
I move to this story, I have a question for you. What is your favorite cast member costume in all of Disneydom?
Wow.
Oh, that's
Or one that you love? Favorite is a tough one. One that you love. You think that's a great costume.
Wow.
Man.
Give these questions
I'm
before the show.
I'm a sucker for like I'm a sucker for like futuristic looking ones. So I wouldn't say any. I wouldn't. I would go with a lot of the Epcot costumes. So like, you know, they're some of them are pretty generic, but like the Test Track, the Guardians, and anything that looks kind of futuristic. Anything except for the Saurin costume at Epcot, I think that's atrocious for cast members to have to wear. But
we're gonna see a cast member wearing that not too long from now. But
well, the California Adventure, they have a better costume.
While you two think about that as well, let us go to a costume that apparently Luke doesn't like, and it's the opposite of futuristic, and those are the new costumes coming to Magic Kingdom's main street.
I don't think that's what Luke said.
No, not what I said at all.
So, any thoughts on these new looks, anybody?
So this is another kind of mix and match thing where they can put together their own outfits based on certain selections. Is that how this works?
I don't know if it's that or if these are just costumes from multiple different locations on Main Street, because the whole of Main Street is getting a collection of new costumes. So
okay,
you know, maybe the one at the end is for Casey's Corner, and then on the other side is Emporium or something like that. You know.
Yeah, I'm going to put on my cynic's hat for a moment.
Okay.
What's the language that's being used with this? It's like recyclable materials, more, right?
So they keep function and comfort top of mind with lightweight, breathable fabric. They're also made from recyclable materials that help keep the environment in mind too.
I'm interested to see what the cast member feedback that we end up hearing from these is, because I sometimes am skeptical. I hear these kinds of marketing language tossed out with changes, and sometimes it bears out and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm eager over the next few months to hear what the cast shares about it. Does it feel lighter? Does it feel more breathable? Or is this a nice way of framing cheaper fabrics and lower cost? So, you know, I'm like I say, so for me currently, I kind of have a little bit of a skeptic hat on. I will say, knowing cast members, that sometimes those higher quality, heavier fabrics are very problematic, especially in the Florida climate. And so if they're looking at lighter, breathable fabrics, I'm happy for the cast and hopeful that it will actually bear out, that they do find it to, you know, make for a more comfortable work day.
Mike, Rebecca, costumes that you like. Any come to mind, Mike?
Yeah, I have an easy one. Easy choice. Bellhop, Hollywood Tower Hotel.
Good one.
That's a nice one.
I feel like it's got to be like the most cosplayed Disney cast member costume, or most Disney bounded cast member costume.
Well, you see it every time you go to a hotel, right?
I think that or the Haunted Mansion costume as well.
How did you find that so quickly?
I've got skills here.
I don't even remember what that's from.
I have no idea. You reviewed it. Oh, you reviewed it in Paris. This is actually.
Oh, this is Paris. Yes.
How about you, Rebecca? You have
I kind of am partial to the Star Tours, that ridiculously bright orange with the blue. I think if you were to look, I think Ricky has a picture from the final flight of the Ewoks. I'm sorry, of to Endor. back in the day. I think Ricky was there that final night, and there was a picture from that because that's what comes to mind when I think of it. But yeah, that orange, that blue, it's very, I don't know, it's simple, but when I think of Disney cast member costumes, that's the one. That's one that pops into my head.
Couldn't find that one fast enough.
No.
Okay. I no one asked me, so I'll ask Doobie. Do you have an opinion? Nothing really comes to mind, but I really like. Honestly, I really like the people that interrogate you and bug you and pick on you on Rise of the Resistance. I know it's just from the movie, but
First Order, yeah.
it's just so perfect. They look the
thought you were
part,
gonna-
they act the part.
I thought you were gonna say those really loud tiki room costumes of yesteryear.
Like Hawaiian shirts. I really don't. Maybe it's a flaw in me, but I really don't. All right. Food and Wine has been going on at DCA for now through April 22nd, since earlier this month. But it's been a while since we've done a show, and that's a big deal. Happy Monday, Tyler. How you doing?
Whoa, I like how that appears on there. Did you see that? It went
It
zoop.
disappears like that. Yeah.
Zoop.
You're
We got
gonna have fun
budget.
playing with this, Mike.
So Rebecca, you covered food and wine. Well, both you and Mike did, I know, but Rebecca specifically covered a lot of the food for us. So you want to talk about some of the food and wine highlights?
Oh, I found a really, really tasty peach IPA out in Paradise Gardens that I fell in love with. I think I described it when I wrote about it as like my new favorite adult beverage. It was quite refreshing. I also had some disappointing items. The vegetarian item, it's like a fish taco. It has all the flavors I don't appreciate about fish, and then a texture that is very dense. So it's kind of more of a chicken nuggety texture to it, which is not one of my favorite foods. So it kind of missed for me in both of those. However, I was surprised. I haven't tried the cheeseburger dumpling item that you can find in Pandora at Animal Kingdom. But for this event, they have a cheeseburger bao, and I don't tend to be a fan of those types of dumpling, but this one was really nice. I appreciate it. I don't know, Mike. I know you also visited the Food and Wine Festival. What were some of the items that you and your friends hit upon?
We haven't done the food yet. When
Okay.
I went, I just took pictures of everything and did video of the shows. We still have our tasting card to go back, and it's a nice long while that the festival's going on. So
Yeah.
we have a little bit of time to go do that. I think probably a couple weeks from now we have plans to go check out the food. But yeah, I did get to see the new Super Kitties Perfections show. Is that what it was? Something like that, which is very similar to the Alice's Wonderland Bakery show that was there in years past. They just kind of swapped out the characters.
And has no puns.
Oh boy, it's the opposite of that. And then we did. I also shot video of the Jam and Chefs, and took pictures of all the booths. And the thing that, oh yeah, we got to talk about the avocado time photo op without a booth.
That was an
That whole
interesting
thing.
aspect that Mike and I stumbled on,
Yeah.
and we talked about on socials, was merchandise featured like various booth names and whatnot. And one of them that was featured was Avocado Time, which it was a booth last year, right, Mike?
It has been a booth in years past, yeah. And I think our theory, or my theory kind of was that maybe they made the merchandise before they decided to cut the booth, and then they cut the booth and realized they still had this logo on the merchandise, so they took that sign from the top there in with the clock inside the avocado. That whole sign at the top has become a photo op that is just along the path there, and no booth though with the avocado.
People like their avocados, so
Yeah.
I guess it's avocado time.
Yeah, no, it's a kind of an interesting dynamic there with that. I was trying to get that over to you, Doobie, but I don't know the best way to do that.
Black is fine.
Yeah, Okay.
You have that.
Let me
Yeah.
let me see, because we have a picture up on X. Hang on.
It's also on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Who's the Boss Pod?
But overall, I think Food and Wine is really fun. I like that you can do the ordering at a single kiosk and make your way around. They had some trouble the first day. One of the signature items that has a lot of buzz is an old-fashioned popsicle. So it's the flavors of an adult beverage, the old-fashioned, no alcohol, but it's in popsicle form. And unfortunately, the day I was there, the freezer was broken, and so they were not offering them. So I didn't get to try it, but I've seen it on socials. A lot of people kind of mentioning it as a highlight of the evening.
That's my wife's favorite alcoholic drink, an old fashioned. So she's definitely going to try that, I would imagine.
It's in that little alcove there when you
Yeah.
first enter. So
Right before Avengers Campus. Yeah.
yeah. So don't miss it.
All right. I've never had an old fashioned. I don't really drink, but they sell them on the Disney Wish, and they're like make this big, huge presentation out of them. So I want to get one just so I can get the presentation. Then
I don't drink the fancy drinks either, but I like that it always comes with a giant ice cube. I just always find that amusing.
Is it like a glow cube? You bang it and it turns on?
No, but when they had the Indiana Jones themed one last year in Florida, it was it's supposed to be like a giant boulder, like Raiders.
Oh,
of the
I
Lost
definitely
Ark.
tried
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
That was good.
What's your favorite drink?
Me?
No, Luke. Sorry.
Okay.
Probably like a pina colada or like a Malibu and Coke, that sort of thing.
Oh, you like coconut?
I do like
Do you-
coconut, yes.
Do you like beer?
Coconutty guy. I do, yeah. No, that's a relatively recent change for me. I never used to be much of a beer person, but
I hate to be the American jerk, but I'm really curious. Do you prefer the beer cold or warm?
I've never had it warm, nor do I ever want.
Don't Brits have warm beer?
Well, not that I know of.
I am not making this up.
I believe you, but I've never heard of it.
It is a thing, but if Luke is just becoming a beer drinker and he's becoming a beer drinker in America, then warm beer is not going to be what happens.
Okay, I have breaking news here. This is from bobthebrit.net.
Oh,
It's a common misconception that we Brits tend to drink our beers warm. I should set the record straight. Warm beer does not refer to the temperature the beer is served at, more the fermentation process that is used for traditional British ales.
There you go.
That makes sense.
TIL. Okay.
Yeah,
Mike,
I
what's
was
your
gonna say
drink of choice?
can't say I've ever heard of warm beer.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
My wife has made fun of me for years and years because I always tend to go for the girliest drinks on the menu. But I will say, I recently, with her, we were at a restaurant in San Francisco. Actually, we found a gluten-free Mexican restaurant. It was amazing. The whole restaurant was amazing. It was pretty expensive too, but really wonderful experience. And I had a drink there, and as I was drinking it, I said, "This is my favorite alcoholic drink I have ever had in my life." It was a spicy jalapeno margarita. It was so good. I wish I could have one right now. It was amazing.
Good. I had a rather tasty one at
Mac working today. I feel like we
Maya
should call
Grill,
him.
right? Maya Grill over at Coronado.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Mac's ears are burning somewhere. Going, why aren't they here for this conversation? All right. Let us move on from food and wine to the opposite, a character meal. 1900 Park Fair, reopening
April 10th.
Thank you. April 10th. And we now know how much the meals will be. Prices have gone up. Not too. Honestly, I kind of quiz myself thinking, how much do I think it costs to have a dinner buffet at 1900 Park Fair? And I came in kind of high. So I don't know. Do any of you know the answer?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Luke, do you happen to remember how much? If not, I will quiz.
Yeah, I have the screen up at the moment.
Then that just leaves Mike. What do you think it costs for an adult to have dinner at the Grand Floridian Character Buffet 1900 Park Fair?
It's a buffet, you said?
it is a buffet.
I'm gonna say $55.
Okay. You can have breakfast for that. Breakfast is 54.
Ooh.
Dinner is 66. $20, 34 for kids at breakfast, 41 for kids at dinner. So it's a little pricey, but honestly, I thought it was going to be more. So Disney, you're surprising me. $66 for dinner, Grand Floridian. A great place to, a great all you can eat. We used to eat there every now and then. Fun characters, great location, and yummy food. Go ahead.
I can't believe it's been gone this long.
Yeah, it never reopened after pandemic, right? So it's been gone 4 years.
Yeah,
now.
I think it's been closed that whole time.
Yeah.
But it's back. And if you want to go, we invite you to book your trip with Mouse Fan Travel, our preferred travel agent here at Laughing Place. They'll take care of you for your trips to Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Cruise, Adventure by Disney, Disneyland Paris, any other Disney destination. Yep, right there under Luke's chin, mousefantravel.com. Make sure you tell them Laughing Place sent you. We all use them for our Disney trips and recommend them highly. We like Mouse Fan Travel. There's no reason not to use a Disney travel agent because they take care of a lot of the legwork. They don't cost any extra money. So even if you don't use Mouse Fan Travel, be smart. Use a Disney travel agent. But we obviously recommend Mouse Fan Travel. One of the biggest, one of the best. They also do a lot of non-Disney travel, especially cruises. Royal Caribbean is they're one of Royal Caribbean's biggest travel agents. So if you're going to be booking on RCL, we recommend them for that too. Hopefully sometime in the next year or two, I can use them to book a cruise on Icon of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's newest ship, because that thing is huge. I want to go. Okay, let's see. Disney Dining app. They've made some changes to the dining app and are in the process of making changes where it's a little bit easier and more flexible. You'll be able to. So right now when you book, it kind of shows you choose your day and it shows you blocks of time that are available. It will now show you specific times that are available, and you'll be able to choose multiple days. So you can see, if you want to have dinner there, you want to have dinner there, you can put in the next week and then see the times that are available the next week, all in one search, and then choose the one that works for you. So
I have really appreciated the changes that they've been making to the dining portion of the app. It's made trying to eat at the Disney parks much more simple. I don't know if you use it much, Luke or Mike, but I know for me, I have appreciated the changes that have been coming finally. I feel like finally.
Agreed.
Yeah, I haven't used it much in recent years, but I do remember it not always being the easiest thing.
Yeah, when we travel there, we do not book way out like a lot of people do. We tend to book like tonight or in the next couple of days. And so having this, especially for the restaurant we really want to eat at, having that kind of flexibility will help a lot.
Yeah,
the way that we use it.
Yeah, one of my favorite dining experiences to share is that we one time walked up to Shutters at Caribbean Beach Resort, which isn't even there anymore, and with a large party, and they told us that they weren't taking walk-ups. So we went out to the phone in the lobby, the dining reservation phone, picked it up and said what size party we had, and we were looking for a place to eat, and they told us that Shutters had a spot available in 10 minutes if we wanted it. And so we were like, sure. And then we walked over to the restaurant. And, hey, we have a reservation in 10 minutes. So, like,
such a crack up.
So, a lot easier to do when you have when you can just do it on your phone.
So yeah, it's much nicer now to be able to just scroll through various destinations and see, and you can also check out the menu before you make your way over there. So that way, especially if you're traveling with multiple families, who don't necessarily always dine together, much more simple dynamic.
That's true. That's right. We had to call the old 407 WDW Dine for that, didn't we?
Yep.
Way back in the day.
Yeah, we ain't old.
Oh, do you remember booking trips back in the day? 407 W Disney, making a reservation, talking through everything. You'd get the yellow envelope in the mail that had everything in it, all the stuff. I love that yellow envelope. I was searching through some scans the other day. I don't know what I was looking for, and I found some scans of. It may have been for our honeymoon, like the yellow envelope for our honeymoon at Coronado Springs. Back in the day. You guys are too young for this stuff, For us old people, this was cool. That yellow envelope meant you're going to Disney World. Now it's just all on your phone. There's nothing tangible. Mike, there's nothing to
Can't hug it. You can't hug it.
You can hug your phone.
Well,
Hugging it
kind of
right
creepy.
now.
Kind of creepy. All right, moving on. Sorry.
Wait, how is that any? Wait, okay, hold up. How is that any more creepy than hugging a sheet of paper? I don't understand.
It's not. It's the sheet of paper is on here, except
Right.
it's saving a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's like this is much better.
Okay. You say so. Oh, popcorn or churro? The yellow envelope or the red card? What's the red card?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a red card in
I
soccer.
don't know. I'm like in
Need some help
soccer.
there. I'm sorry, I missed some comments. Oh man, yeah, I was on the wrong tab. So yes, Gio, a big fan of those changes too, as is David Raguso. And,
Yeah, see, long overdue.
so many times. The hot new restaurant is super limited today, so it's helpful to check an entire stay in one shot if you're willing to take any reservations left. That's right. If you want to get over to Space 220, now it's a lot easier to get there. Absolutely. Disneyland Forward, which I know is kind of your purvey, Mike Celestino. You do a great job covering all of those for Laughing Place. Do you enjoy going to those things?
I found them to be very interesting while I'm going. I can't say I'm upset that my time has come to an end because I was there. I got to be there for the City Planning Commission's vote last week, which went pretty late that night, which means now it's moving on to the City Council for them to vote on it, and that vote will take place on April 16th, which is the evening that I am going to Star Wars Night, Disneyland After Dark. So sadly, I can't be in two places at once. But if I had to pick one between those two, I would probably be at Star Wars Night anyway. So yeah, it's always very interesting. This one got a little contentious. There were some words exchanged. One of the council members was starting to get on people's nerves, including maybe myself. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there wasn't much left to say about it, and it was just time. It was time for them to vote on it. Glad they did it. Glad they didn't delay it like they proposed, like that council member proposed to delay it a couple weeks. So yeah, seems like it's moving up to the next step.
Woohoo!
Kyle clarifies he was referring to the flick cards. You'll know what flick card is, the red card.
Yes. I
And
don't
red
know if
envelope.
Oh, I see.
much of a thing anymore in this day and age with magic bands and such.
Did you guys
All right,
ever get
well-
a red card?
Oh, for sure.
I've handed many of them out back in my cast member days.
Yeah.
Okay, so you being a cast member, I always wanted to know if I don't turn it back in, or I like just drop it someplace, does it just mess up? Does like the wait time go up to like 1,000 minutes?
No, because the flick cards don't control the wait time. The cast members do. It's just data collection.
I'm embarrassed to say there is more than one occasion where I was given one and I forgot to give it back when I got to the front of the, boarding the ride itself. And my wife had to point out to, like, you never turned that in. And I had to go back and be like, I totally forgot. I'm sorry. This is it was pointless to hand it to me.
They're also like they, at least during my time, that would happen all the time, but they would work anywhere. So just turn it into anywhere, and
Okay.
it becomes that attractions.
Behind the scenes of the flick card.
I should say, just going back to the previous topic there, Disneyland Forward is this campaign put on by Disneyland Resort to kind of open up the zoning restrictions on the land that they already own so that they can build more proposed theme park space on what is now a few different parking lots. There's the Symbol lot underneath the hotels there, and then there's the Downtown Disney, or what used to be the Downtown Disney parking lot, and then you've got the Toy Story parking lots, which have kind of been pitched as, I think they want to turn it into like a Disney Springs type thing. Um, and yeah, it seems like this is probably going to pass, and they'll likely start construction relatively soon. I don't know. And then if it does pass at the city council, I'm sure we're all expecting them to give at least some indication of what might go there at
Mhm.
D23, not the expo, but D23, the ultimate Disney fan event.
Including maybe Avatar.
Maybe Avatar.
Is a
not.
possibility.
So the reason I brought up Disneyland Forward, other than Mike's expertise, is apparently we have learned that there are some. They did an environmental impact report, and the references some national historic sites.
I was surprised. I thought when this happened in the meeting, I was surprised by it, but I don't know much. I figured you guys all knew about this already. But there are like a handful of buildings on Disney property that have been designated protected National Historic sites, and they aren't necessarily the ones that you would assume. One of them, surprisingly to me, was the Hungry Bear restaurant, which if I were listing the buildings at Disneyland that should be protected historic sites, Hungry Bear would be pretty far down the list. But I still don't quite understand the reasoning behind it, though they did talk about that at the meeting. I just couldn't wrap my brain around, like, why not Sleeping Beauty Castle? Why not some of this other stuff that we know and love for many decades? This is the Pope House. This I understand being protected historic, though apparently they can move it if they want to, which is surprising to me. And then also, yeah. And then there's also the facade of, the buildings in New Orleans Square around Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Main Street train station is protected too. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird to me and surprising, but I just figured, oh, this is something that everybody knows already except for me, and I'm just learning it now.
Yeah, I think it being I think the Main Street train station being a historic site is why they don't have to be ADA compliant. That's the one train station where you can't get your wheelchair can't get up there. So if you need to use a wheelchair, you have to go to a different station to get on.
So I don't know what this means. I mean, if Hungry Bear is a historic landmark, does that mean it has to continue to exist? They can't just crush it and replace it with Tiana's new place to eat?
Well, a bell kind of went off in my head when I heard that, and I was like, okay, well, I kind of assumed when they were going to build the Tiana's Palace restaurant that it would be the location of the Hungry Bear made the most sense to me. But then as this came up, I was like, oh, well, now I kind of understand why they couldn't make big changes to it the way they did with the French Market.
Yeah.
I don't know, but these
I
are
wonder.
things that are kind of beyond me, I think.
Oh, I was watching a video earlier today actually about the oldest operating roller coaster. It's called Leap the Dips, and it's in Pennsylvania, and it's a historic national landmark. But I don't remember the exact details. But just because it's a historic landmark doesn't necessarily mean it's demolition proof, or change proof.
Yeah. I worked at another historic landmark, the Cinerama Dome in Hollywood, for a while. And I know, like, because of that status, they only could change certain things about it. Like the seats weren't up to be changed. Like, the seats are always so cramped and uncomfortable in there, and because of the historic status, they couldn't change that. And I always thought that was interesting.
Right. Let's see. Disneyland's Egg Hunt, where you walk around the resort. Is it downtown Disney or in the park, Mike?
I think it's both parks and downtown Disney, or it has been in the years past.
All over the place. You got to hunt and find the eggs and get your sticker and get your prize. They've released what the prizes will be for that this year. They look an awful lot like the prizes over at Walt Disney World. From Jeremiah and I recently joined that egg hunt together on a live stream, and I will show you those right there. So that kicks off on a week
It's-
ago, March 11th.
Yeah, started already. Yep.
Goes through April 9th, costs $10. You are guaranteed to get one of these, even if you don't complete the hunt successfully. And it's a fun thing. So hopefully Mike will do a stream like Jeremiah did. Go on a hunt, try to find out little Iggies. Kind of fun. All right.
By the way, I was going to say, Kyle points out that Tony Betty in our article kind of goes over a little bit about what the label of historic means and why it was brought up in the meeting. So if you are wondering more about it, you can read about it there. As Tony says, kind of echoes what Luke was saying regarding the coaster.
Thank you, Tony. I did prep for the show, and somehow I just missed that article in prep, and that's like the most complicated article here, so I apologize for not being ready for that information. Let's see. 2025 Disney Cruise Line itineraries are out. We're not going to go through them very much right now because Rebecca did an entire show on them this morning with Heather from Mouse Fan Travel. So if you're looking to travel next summer on a Disney Cruise Line, want to check out what their options are, I invite you to go watch that show on this very YouTube channel.
Yeah, one of the most exciting things about the announcement are short European cruises. That's not something we've seen as much of in the past, from what I understand. New 3 and 4 day cruises out of Southampton, England. So be sure to check that out, especially those of you watching over in Europe. If you had considered a cruise, you now have some shorter options like we have had here with our 3 and 4 day Bahamian or Mexican Riviera type cruises over here.
All right, so a little bit of fun news. Let's watch this. It's not very long. Let's watch it at least for a while.
Hello and welcome to Saurin over California. My name is Patrick and I'll be your chief flight attendant today. We'll begin boarding in a few minutes, but first I'd like to acquaint you with some important safety information.
Hello everyone and welcome to Saurin over California. Thank you for joining us on this very special flight today. It is our pleasure to introduce to you your chief flight attendant.
Hello.
Never fail.
And welcome. Welcome to Saurin. As I just mentioned, my name is Patrick. I will be your chief flight attendant today. Thanks for letting me acquaint you with some important safety information for all of these years. Now, no one here has a fear of flying or heights, do they? Well then, let's be on our way. Oh, nice work, Kyle. You know where to stow those little beauties? Hello there. Cheers. Okay. Has everybody pulled their yellow strap for the safety belt? The safety belt for safety. The safety belt chosen especially to make guests safe. The guest safety belt. All right, anything else here? Oh yeah. Have a nice flight. Thanks for soaring over California with us.
That was delightful. I thought. I'm a big
No,
fan.
that was Saurin was one of my attractions when I worked at Disneyland. So kicking myself that didn't happen when I was there, but I did get to meet Patrick once, and very nice guy. I met him twice over the course of 2 days, and he remembered me the second day. I remember I walked into a room where he was, and he was like, "Hey, it's Luke again," which was I was like, "Okay, that's good. I like that."
Cool. Like my buddies from Disneyland Inside Out, right, Rebecca?
Yes. David Ragusa wants a celeb moment in the parks to happen. Doobie had one when we were first beginning to date. We were in the park together. I think this was probably like maybe the second or third time I'd ever even met you. And we were at the park, and JD Roth, they were filming that Disney Inside Out show. And we're walking down this I think it was over by Main Street, and he saw you. He's like, "Hey, Doobie." I was like, You know
Yep.
everybody.
And-
Everywhere I went in the park, everybody was talking to Doobie by name. And I was just like, what is this? So, and then JD Roth did it too.
We have some cynics in our comments. Emperor's New Groove folks were totally planned, do you think? Tony Betty says, what I love most about this video is not only Patrick, but the non-labeled or exclusively Disney branded clothing on this randomly selected group. Maybe they weren't randomly selected. Maybe they waited until they had a group who fit the right clothing and then they chose them. I don't like this cynicism among the LP, especially you, Tony, one of the more positive people I know. Come on, I expect more out of you.
But can I just ask why?
Why?
It's so random. I was
It's
what
fun.
anniversary do I not know about? What? It was just,
For Saurin over California,
yeah.
for Patrick being there. The framing that they used was because it's back for the Food and Wine Festival.
Okay.
Fun. It's fun. He comes all the time. He gets his free tickets. They're like, if you want another free ticket, you're gonna have to earn it this time, buddy. You got to actually.
But he wouldn't shave the mustache for it. That bothers me.
I appreciate David mentioning that Johnny Depp one. That's my favorite. That to me, that seems amazing to have been in Pirates and wonder and be like, wait, that was actually Johnny Depp, not a animatronic.
That blew up.
That'd be fun.
That was the biggest thing in the world. All right, other celebrity news. Nothing like celebrities going to Disney. Queen Latifah went to visit Magic Kingdom. She was in town because Universal Studios had her performing. But hey, if you're in town for Universal, might as well go to Disney World and get your picture taken there. So here she is with the princess and the alligator. And probably the most important celebrity of them all, Magnolia Jackson, celebrated her 106th birthday, in which is a wonderful story at Disney World recently. It's a feel-good story. She went to the Magic Kingdom, and because she is a lifelong gardener, she went to Epcot to enjoy the Flower and Garden Festival, celebrating her 106th birthday. If I ever make it to 106, this is definitely where I'm celebrating mine.
I love that.
Don't forget, Rebecca. Beautiful moment. We have one more celebrity sighting, and this is
What do you think,
not
Doobie? Eric Idle, should he come and do his
why am I here? Was I in this?
I think
don't
his
remember.
personal response to that would be quite different than the other Patrick Warburtons.
don't think he would embrace it in quite the same way?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Aw.
No recollection of being.
Which one would you like? Like, okay, who's the current voice of Spaceship Earth?
Judi Dench.
Okay, so you can like ride Spaceship Earth in like your personal narration.
She's just sitting in the row behind you.
Yeah, she just whispers in your ear the whole time to thank the Phoenicians.
There are so many. Dr. Seeker, Mrs. Huxtable.
That's what some people were saying, that they really hope before Dinosaur goes away that we'll see that pairing again in person.
And Fly Guy. So many cool people we could get come back for these things.
Fly Guy is the modern equivalent.
Yeah, totally. Maybe he'd get really excited to see it and become quite the animated little guy himself. About that. We have one more celebrity sighting, and that was. Who is this, Rebecca?
This is Universal, and this is Nikki Hilton, and this is their new little Gabby's Dollhouse. And I shared this with you because this was a character that I spotted when I was at Universal Orlando, and I had to ask my son who it was because it was not a character I was personally familiar with.
Help me out. I know of Paris Hilton. Who's Nikki Hilton?
Just another member of the Hilton conglomerate.
Yep.
Kyle is our VP in charge of pop culture. I'm sure he can let us know.
I'm gonna guess it's her sister.
You know, I was looking her up earlier, and I don't think it was.
Okay.
It'll be like a cousin or a. Now we're waiting for.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out, and I can't find out fast enough. Kyle, help us out. Who is Nikki Hilton?
Oh no, Paris Hilton is the older sister. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And then she has two younger brothers, Baron and Conrad, which are two very, like, make so much sense for the Hilton name. It just
Hoity-toity
works.
names all around.
Baron.
Do you guys think that we're gonna have a lot of celebrities with the opening of Bayou Adventure? Do you think we're gonna see a lot of that talent showcased with
Oh,
that
I'm sure.
attraction's arrival?
Yeah, just like
I
they
think
do with
so.
any attraction, honestly. I mean, they did it with Tron, so I think we'll probably see it with the Princess and the Frog too.
I
don't
missed
think we saw.
I missed
Oh.
getting to ride Rise of the Resistance with Macaulay Culkin by like a minute on the
Oh,
at the media event. I really regretted it. But Yvette Nicole Brown was on the car that went with me.
Oh, cool.
You know how there's two ride
Oh, that's
vehicles at the
cool.
same time. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Rebecca, do you remember when Test Track opened and we thought One Direction was going to be there, and instead we got One Republic?
Vaguely.
Let's see. Tony Betty has some information. I always thought Nikki Hilton was the lobby. and Nikki. All right. Let's see. Rebecca, you got to do a couple of things at Knott's Berry Farm. Check out the hotel and a preview of the Boysenberry Festival, the food. Can we talk about that a bit?
The hotel, they've done a really beautiful refurbishment of the hotel right there by Knott's Berry Farm. Among the elements is they are trying to go for kind of a modern farmhouse style. So the chandelier evokes, mason jars like Mrs. Knott would have been using to offer up her original, boysenberry preserves. Around the lobby, you have various displays of beautiful china pieces from that era, because they believe that she actually used some of her own wedding china to feed the first guests of the chicken restaurant. So kind of, going back to that, a lot of a large portrait of the Knott couple their wedding photo hangs in the lobby as well. So really kind of bringing in that history of Knott's Berry Farm to the hotel. The new restaurant, 30 Acres Farm, has a gorgeous mosaic that, as it turns out, was designed by a gentleman I know from Imagineering, Morgan Lee Richardson. He's done a lot of conservationist artwork for Imagineering in the past, and he was actually one of the artists who worked on the mosaic here, and he hid the cattywampus, which was new to me, Mike. So I learned about the cattywampus because it was hidden in that mosaic at the restaurant. And then they used reproductions of the original Knott's chicken dinner restaurant menus to create a beautiful mosaic, not mosaic, but like a tree collage in the lobby area. So yeah, just it feels like they really brought up a level of elegance. They've increased the size of the gift shop. There's now a Starbucks in the hotel. You no longer have to walk over towards Knott's Berry Farm to get your morning coffee from Starbucks. It's right there in the lobby. So yeah, a lot of nice additions. They've created a beautiful courtyard just off the lobby that would be perfect for a wedding or an outdoor gathering there. So some nice additions to the Knott Hotel. I have some room tour video as well in the article. And then it's time for their Boysenberry Festival, so they used the location to give us a bit of a preview. But I know, Mike, you actually went to the Boysenberry Festival. Were there any particular highlights for you this year?
Yeah, this was one of those events where I got to, because we went on a Saturday. My wife was able to come along and she got to try out, and my best friend came too, and they got to try out a lot of the stuff that I can't eat. And we put up some of their reviews on Twitter, and I took photos of all the food that we got. Yeah, the food is always interesting, at the very least, the boysenberry themed dishes that they come up with each year. And then, unfortunately, there were no new shows this year. So it didn't really, we have all the existing ones on the Laughing Place YouTube channel already. So I kind of let that be. But we wandered around the park, took some pictures of Camp Snoopy is under refurbishment. They're kind of changing that up. I think that'll be reopening this summer. And it was just, we always enjoy just kind of hanging out and roaming around Knott's Berry Farm. But the highlights of the Boysenberry Festival are the boysenberry themed food concoctions that you saw in some of those pics there.
I find that I'm most fond when they're using the boysenberry in some sort of barbecue. When it's like within the barbecue sauce, they throw it into some other things, and it doesn't tend to work as well. I know that for this one they did it with a tikka masala with some boysenberry dynamic to it, which didn't particularly work for me. But the event that we attended, they were offering all the items in kind of a buffet style. So it wasn't really like it would be in the park. So I'm kind of a little bit hesitant to totally like fully review it because of that.
Right.
I will say the polenta that came with the pulled pork, I don't eat pork, but the polenta that came with it was ridiculously tasty for a polenta. However they prepared it was really remarkable. And there's a pizza that I forgot to write down, but there was a pizza that I would have liked to have tried. They didn't offer it at our event. I think it's out at the prop place, and it's like pickle, and it has a really weird blend of flavors that they're putting on this pizza. So yeah, if you are at Knott's, it's out at I want to say at the Boardwalk Prop out there by the go-karts. No, not go-karts. Bumper cars. Bumper cars. So yeah.
And Boysenberry Festival. Sorry, I did not catch. When does that run through? Anybody know the dates for that?
I don't recall.
Yeah, no, me neither. Sorry, but I know it's daily for a certain period of time, and then it shifts to weekends. So be sure to check that out, because I know that it isn't daily the entire course of the event.
It runs daily from now through Sunday, April 7th, and then Fridays through Sundays between April 12th and the 28th.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Mr. Manning. And finally, Mike, I wanted to give you a moment to talk about the kickoff.
Hey, wait, Kyle has a prediction that I want to have on the record.
Oh, I forgot that. Yes, please.
He predicts Jennifer Lewis will become a Disney legend at D23 fan event, and she will attend the opening at Disneyland Resort.
That is a fair prediction.
I like that prediction.
And Anika Noni Rose is already a Disney legend.
Yes.
Hopefully she will be there as well.
They should start doubling up. You could get legend status times 2.
Like Pearl.
Yeah.
Disney legend Pearl tier.
Here, I'm going to make a bold. This just came in my head, but I'm making it now just in case it's right. Bold prediction: Disney Legend 2024. Michael Eisner. You heard it here first. It's going to happen eventually.
It needs
This is
to.
the year.
I agree. It should happen. I just don't know that. I would be impressed if it happened as soon as this year.
I mean, you got to do it while he's still alive. I mean, you don't have to, but it would be nicer.
They're waiting till that's not the case, frankly.
Does he have an amicable relationship with Iger?
He hired the guy.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
I
don't know how it ended, though.
I think it was his chosen successor. But then so was Chapek for Iger. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope it happens from Iger. It would be sad if it. Because presumably Iger would be the one to present the award to him. I mean, he hired him and his predecessor, CEO.
Tom Bergeron.
And it would be, I would be disappointed if Iger were not doing it as his position as CEO, presenting it to his predecessor, who time has shown us that he richly deserves it, despite the pain with which he left the company. But full body of work, he is undoubtedly a Disney legend. All right, Mike, kickoff, chalk walk, go.
We were reminded at this event of the very long relationship between the Children's Hospital of Orange County and the Walt Disney Company, and specifically Disneyland Resort. It goes back to Walt Disney era, and it continues to this day. Every year, they do this event called the Chalk Walk, which happens very early in the morning, and they walk around the entire resort in support of raising money for Chalk Children's Hospital. And this event that I went to on Friday night was the kickoff for Chalk fundraising season in advance of the Chalk Walk, which happens in kind of mid to late July this year. I think it's July 21st. And at this event, you saw Mickey Mouse. He popped up. We also had Choco, the Chalk Bear, and then representatives from the Chalk Foundation spoke, and we got to see a Disneyland Resort ambassador talked as well. And it's all just kind of leading up to the Chalk Walk this year, but it was a really fun event and a good reminder to participate or help to raise funds if you can't make it this year. I think you can go and register now on the Chalk website, CHOC. I'm not sure the URL.
Walk.org.
Chalkwalk.org. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's $125 minimum if you want to just participate. You have to raise $125 just to participate in the event. But otherwise, you could put your own team together and raise well more than that if you want. And so many millions of dollars have been raised over the years to support a really wonderful cause, the Children's Hospital there, which I've had the chance to visit. And it's really moving to get to watch all these video recaps. And they had one family there who's kind of the Chalk ambassador family, different one every year. And it's always one of the kids in the family has always grown up having needed the resources that Chalk provides. So that was very moving too. But you can watch, there's like a half-hour video that I shot of their presentation from this event, and that's up on the Laughing Place YouTube channel. And I've got photos with Mickey and Choco, and they also showed off this year's art. The key art for the event was done by an artist whose name you're going to have to remind me of, but he's done a lot of art for Disney parks. His name is Jeff something, and he did this art as well, and he was there to sign it. And I don't have it here in front of me, but there's another photo there of my signed copy of like a little mini poster that they did for that.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Jeff Granito.
Yeah, there you go. And he pointed out, people were holding the cups, the cups that you get if you buy a soda at Disneyland. He's done the artwork for the cups too. So he's got a very familiar style that you'll recognize if you're a regular of Disneyland.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Thank you very much, Mike. Anything else
Yeah.
anyone want to say about what's going on in the world of parks before we say goodbye today?
We didn't really talk. I forgot to add to the list, but I did Disney Channel night.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Yeah.
Talk.
Sorry. Yeah, they had another Disney. This was a new Disneyland After Dark, one that hadn't been done before. Disney Channel night. Everybody seemed really excited for it. I was talking to some of our fellow, theme park reporters at the event and saying how each different Disneyland After Dark kind of draws a different demographic, and this one was very unique because I feel like the Disney Channel, especially certain eras of the Disney Channel, applies to a certain or appeals to a certain age range, but they kind of mashed this up. So it was Disney Channel, but it also got mashed up with stuff that I was familiar with from the Disney Afternoon, which I suppose probably ran also on the Disney Channel at some point. But they had, you could see stuff from Disney Channel Zombies and High School Musical, that kind of thing, Descendants. And then also in Toontown, they had DuckTales and Tailspin and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. So it was like those two worlds colliding. There's the Rescue Rangers. Very fun night. I thought they did a really good job putting this one together. For me, covering it was another one of those, like, once it started, I never stopped running around taking photos and videos. And Luke was the one working at the headquarters, the home office, uploading it all to YouTube and to the Laughing Place website. But
We got it done.
we got it done, and I always appreciate when it's something new. it's not just a repeat of something they've done before. So this was a lot of new stuff to me, and I enjoyed it for that reason. Next one for me is going to be Star Wars night, though. So excited for that too, though that one has happened several times before.
Based on all the talk, I hope that this is one that we see expand like we have other ones that have scored particularly well, because it seemed like the buzz out of this event was particularly positive. People really seemed to have enjoyed it, and it didn't feel like something that people necessarily one and done. It felt like something that
Right.
they would wouldn't mind going back and doing again.
And I feel like the Disney Channel as a concept has a lot more properties that they could add in. Like, it's been going for what, 40 plus years, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot more that they could use to fill out if they want to add more experiences or photo ops or characters. There's a lot of untapped potential there for that concept.
I wonder if we'll ever see any of these after hours events expand into a little bit of, I don't want to say Paley Fest, but kind of, like that bit of fan element. Like we used to have the ABC primetime weekend, and you had all these different panels with all these celebrities.
Or Star Wars weekends
yeah.
that you had down there. Yeah.
I wonder
Orlando.
if it wouldn't be a bad thing to me if maybe they had just a couple of kind of special guest moments where they would speak in some location that was generally accessible, and it wasn't like kind of super intrusive on the night as a whole, but yet, an opportunity, or even just a cavalcade. I mean, even just throw them in the fire engine and have, the voice of Kim Possible, tootling down Main Street in a fire engine could be fun.
During the night, I did walk past the creators of, I think it was Phineas and Ferb. And the only reason I knew who they were is because we had a video. I think Tony Betty interviewed them on the Laughing Place YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, I recognize those guys. And they were chatting with fans. So at least some of the creators were there.
That's fantastic.
For that.
You saw some other creators that night, didn't you?
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring it up during the celebrity encounters, but yeah, Luke knows all about this. Yeah, that night, as I was waiting for the Disneyland After Dark event to begin, I crossed paths with a big group of people that included Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and Imagineer Scott Trowbridge. My assumption was that they were being shown the new additions coming to Star Tours, which includes some of the Mandoverse stuff. So I couldn't resist, as I told Luke on my podcast when he was a guest. Like I did a little mild stalking a little bit, and I did end up getting a picture with them. There we are in the Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway gift shop. I went up to them and showed them my phone case, which is the Beskar, and they appreciated that. Jon Favreau actually asked me if I wanted a picture with them, so
that's really nice.
I didn't have to
nice.
bug them about it. Yeah.
That is so thoughtful.
Wow.
That goes with every story I ever hear. I haven't met him or even been in a room with him, to any extent, but that goes with every story that comes to me of Favreau, is that he's just a very generous soul within the industry. So
I bet he's kind of figured out too, like, this is how to get rid of people. not in such a crass way, but like
cynicism is spreading.
No, I just feel like, okay, this is the ultimate goal of this person coming up to me, is that they want a picture with me, right? So it's a good way to like wrap up the interaction.
I 100% agree with you on that.
If I ever see Jon Favreau and he says we'd like a picture, I'm gonna say no. I just want to continue this awkward encounter.
And he will hate you.
Well, I told Luke too, like, I was kicking myself. I still can't remember what it was, but there was one episode of Who's the Boss, somewhere in the 180 plus episodes. I said on mic, I was like, if I ever meet Jon Favreau, this is the question I'm going to ask him. And I completely forgot what it was. I still can't remember. Somebody has to comb through many, many hours of the podcast to find what it was.
Hey, I missed a question here. Let me ask that real quick, and then we'll close with this. I know
Okay.
People have lives. Tony Betty said, I've heard the real highlight of the event was the crowd who attended and how into it they were. Was that your experience, Mike? The Disney Channel night?
everybody was super into it. There was one show that was called Disney Channel Rocks, and you could watch the video on the Laughing Place YouTube channel. And that especially seems like it really got people going. It really got people into it. Because it's like 4 singers going up on stage and they perform like medleys of all these songs that people know from High School Musical and stuff like that. And there it is. People were really into this show. And I didn't see the Descendants one. They did Descend Dance over at the Rivers of America. Alex Reif, who was also there, shot the video of that. But I heard that people were super excited about that one too. But yes, the enthusiasm of the attendees matched the effort that was put into the event, putting it together. So that's a recipe for success in my book.
Great. Cool. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you, Luke, once again for filling in, although this is becoming so regular. Maybe next time Jeremiah will fill in. And we'll see you.
Maybe I am Jeremiah.
No, Jeremiah doesn't.